organized. Learn to be active.
Is that, and Abraham Traore is like, bro, we don't need y'all for nothing. How about that? You
Hey,
know,
but I tell you what though, they done messed up because they let me get in there for a little while. Because at first it was like, okay, yeah, you can come around and measure the stuff. Then it was like, I was watching the machines. I was watching the. I was I mean, just real quick, at 90 seconds. I started as a QC because I didn't want to kiss ass in an office no more. I was like, I can't teach my son how to do that. I need to learn how to do something. Teach my son. So went as a QC. It was a cheap job, but I knew it would get me into the industry. From there, I started watching the machines and figuring out how to do it. Yada yada. After I felt like I might be able to stumble through it, I made this whole fake resume, bro. Lied lied through my teeth. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. And it took the next job I got like 6 or 7 months to figure out that I couldn't do it. But in those 6 or 7 months, guess what happened? I turned into a person that could do it. And I think it's real important, man, that if we find like a few youngsters that want to learn how to like work on cars, want to like, you know, work machines and stuff like that, like get them together, man. Because I'm about to buy a lathe. Now it's gonna be a little silly bench lathe, but if you could work a small one, trust me, the only thing you got to do to work a big one is respect the fact that it's heavy and you got to be right or it'll fly off your machine and crush you, you know?
and kind of on the subject, I think about like Oprah Winfrey, or these really wealthy black celebrities, and they go and they build a school in Africa, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying why they don't do that here in the United States. You know,
Because they bought and paid for it and they know if they put it way out there where it's going to get swallowed up by the rest, that it ain't going to matter and the white man not going to mess with them here. That's how they did that. I'm telling you, man, Oprah Winfrey got enough money to educate the whole ass South. And the reason she ain't did it is because there's somebody white that she still really like and
you
really
know.
need.
Well, it's I don't know. The people that get elevated, they do it in a certain way to appease the powers that be, if you will, and then they just continue to do that as they go on. And it's like, but
Oh,
in their defense, if they don't go about it in that way, then they're gonna be derailed. There's so many examples of that happening.
and then
If you
also you
go,
got the. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You
uh,
got it.
I'm just saying that if you don't go at it in the right way, then you're gonna meet roadblocks. You're gonna meet problems. You're not gonna be successful because the powers that be don't want those examples. And that's the same thing with Abraham Traore. That is, it flies in the face of the narrative that these people are corrupt, they're backwards, they have no culture, they're savages, they can't get it together because they're genetically inferior. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
you got that, and guess what else you got? Because I mean, like one thing I really like to do is I like to point. I like to look in the mirror a lot of times, and I get a little further away from the mirror. You know, sometimes I get on my high horse. But man, pointing it back at me, man, I was making like a pitiful ass $35,000 a year while I was looking down at Africa and it corrupt leaders. You know.
yeah,
So I say that to say this, man. What about the brainwashing, dude? Like
yeah,
if I can make like a piddly, like yearly salary and look down on what's happening in Africa, until I looked at it a little better with my real heart, man, what's to stop Oprah Winfrey or Jay-Z or like Diddy from looking down on everybody else that ain't made it like they made it, because all you got to do is try hard and make it. Like maybe they got brainwashed, man. Maybe they
yeah.
like maybe they really think that.
They really believe it. Like Candace Owens, she's one of those people who I think really do believe the stuff that she says. you know
I
um
don't. I do
I-
not believe she believes that.
I do. I really do. I think she's genuine. And, we have a lot of grifters that are, you can make a lot of money grifting, and just telling people what they want to hear. It'll get you a long ways, especially in this sphere where I am right now, creating content or whatever. The best way to do it is, whether you're on the left or the right, is to just like double down and tell the people what they want to hear, and don't give it any nuance,
Man,
And I don't always agree with Candace Owens, but sometimes I do. And that she is genuine and believes what she says, and I don't know what made me bring her up, but
Investigate both sides of the argument, come up with your own conclusions.